Yo, and a complete surprise, Risk of Rain 2 today released this teaser trailer for the newest survivor in the Seekers of the Storm DLC. So we're going to take a look at that today. She looks really cool. She is the Seeker. We're going to skip a little bit ahead here to take a look at the gameplay involved. There's some new items. There's a really secret thing at the end that I'm very excited for. If you know me, if you've seen some of these videos, then you know. But she is this little bit of an astral projection, mid-ranged melee-esque character. The shots aren't actually melee, but they are fist. There's the utility ability right there. And we're going to go over all of these today. The first thing I want to point out, though, this is a new item. The Warped Echo splits incoming damage. It looks like a white item. I don't know what that means. Maybe if it's multiplayer, this gets enabled and then it splits damage between teammates. Maybe it splits damage between your drones. That would be a really strong item, especially in a game like Risk of Rain 2, where you get one shot by stuff, or I guess if you have one shot protection, it's not actually one shot, but you know what I'm saying. That kind of thing could be really, really useful. And then this ability right here, Meditate, this is her special, a very cool ability. You're gonna see you have to do this little input QTE sequence here, and then once you do, you get a big explosion around you. It'll also heal teammates, and you'll also gain a stack of tranquility, which is this ability right here. I guess my face is covering it a little bit, but you can also see it right here, 3 stacks. If I rewind to before that sequence of inputs, it's at 2 stacks, sequence of inputs completed, now it's at 3. So that's gonna beef up your abilities, which is pretty cool. And then here I believe it's showing damaging enemies and as well as healing teammates. And then coming up here, we can also see new maps and everything. Very exciting. There's a new enemy. This looks like a brass contraption, but it doesn't look like any brass contraption that I know. It looks copper almost, maybe even rusted. I don't know what that's like. Could be armor related, maybe something like that where it receives decreased damage. And then here is an example of them showing off the tranquility charges. We're at 5, we're gonna get to 6, and that's gonna beef up your mouse 1 up to 7 stacks. And when you hit 7 stacks, you can also res your teammates. The commando was gone, and now they're back. Seeker seems really, really powerful. A lot of fun, and here is this mouse 1. So I'm gonna rewind that one more time just so you can see. It's gonna be a 3-punch combo where punch 1 is a piercing shot, pierce 2, piercing shot, pierce 2, punch 2, and then punch 3, an AoE explosion. And that explosion gets beefed up the more stacks of tranquility you have. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It also really promotes using all of your abilities and synergizing that together, because as you start to climb higher and higher. Also, you can see that. It's a new item right here. This little floating balloon. Is that a new enemy? We got some little dragons, some worms coming out of the ground. Maybe it's like an elite, or maybe it's not an elite. Maybe it's just a normal version of the magma worm. Because you know how the wisps have the greater wisps. This is maybe a magma worm, like a little mini one, which might mean there's also an overloading version, which could be scary. But that's pretty cool. Anyway, I keep getting distracted. Basically what I was saying is that sometimes you end up not using stuff. So the fact that there's inbuilt synergy there is pretty cool. And you're gonna see this fist flying out of the ground pretty frequently here, so we're gonna go over it more officially. This is your secondary ability where it's a vertical punch that's gonna knock enemies back and deal a good amount of debuffs as well, which is pretty cool. And then it has that highlight indicator. Very nice. Love the animation. Honestly, I'm a huge fan of this. I'm a sucker for piercing. And here's a little bit of a diagram, and I'm also a sucker for AoE, so this would be a perfect character for me. They're basically describing that your mouse 1 is kind of a mid-range punch, so you can use that mouse 2 to hit enemies from afar. But even so, you'll probably want to get into close-ish range to use it there. So very interesting, very cool. And we're gonna see coming up in a clip very soon. I guess we should go over the utility skill here because this is also quite unique, but also a bunch of new items, which is really interesting. But this utility ability, it's kind of like a volcanic egg, but you can also damage yourself. But you can also fly, like, forever, I guess? It wasn't extremely clear, but if you use it for under 3 seconds, then it's basically like any other utility ability. You're getting that movement, and it's fine. But if you go longer than 3 seconds, yeah, like take a look at the lower right of the screen as I rewind here, your health is gonna drop, and it's dropping pretty fast. So you got to be careful about that. You can cancel it at any time if you press your utility skill again, or if you run into an opponent or the environment, I believe. But otherwise, it looks to be pretty cool. Looks to be pretty cool. I'm just gonna rewind here one more time because you may have missed something as you were focusing on the utility skill. I'm gonna draw your attention right here, and right here. Now this looks like the one that we saw earlier, the balloon floating. This maybe is the backpack we're seeing, and then this, I have no idea. So we're looking at some new items there. Very exciting about that. Always a fan of new items. Let me fast forward once again to get back to where we were. And they're just zooming out here and showing a little bit of the combos in this early level here. Some new map and floating around. That utility skill looks really good. Like you're flying up there. And if you have all of the control, then that's fantastic. And then this is one of the alternate skills, the Soul Spiral. And you got these floating orbs around you, which look pretty awesome. So that's pretty much all there is for the Seeker at the moment, but there's one last little thing here, which goes by really quick, but if you take a look, this part of the screen right here, it's a chef hat, it's a chef mustache, this says protein, this says ingredients. It's looking like a hint at an actual official chef in Risk of Rain 2. Very exciting.